Early morning in Chennai, the city wakes up to the distant sounds of temple bells and smells of strong filter coffee. Chennai was formerly known as Madras or Madrasapattinam. There are many theories regarding this coinage. Although lesser known, one of the most accepted theories to this coinage is that Madras originated from the Portuguese Madre de Deus, which literally translates as Mother of God. True to this, the pulse of the city still lies in its traditional outlook. Chennai has reached dizzying heights compared to other metropolitan cities in India. However, even today there is great emphasis on local culture and religion. There are 4 principal religions in the capital, but to a large extent, Hinduism is dominant. Animals occupy an important place in Hinduism. They are frequently mentioned in Hindu myths and legends and enjoy a place of their own in the Hindu pantheon as vehicles of many gods and goddesses, as divinities, and also as incarnations or aspects of Vishnu or Shiva. Spiritually, there is no distinction between human beings and other life forms. All life forms, including plants and animals, are manifestations of God as limited beings and possess souls. There are no exceptions. Nature or earth has never been considered a hostile element to be conquered or dominated. In fact, man is forbidden from exploiting nature. He is taught to live in harmony with nature and recognize that divinity prevails in all elements, including plants and animals. The Bhagavad Gita advises us not to try to change the environment, improve it, or wrestle with it. If it seems hostile at times, tolerate it. Because Chennai is still in touch with its traditional roots, this is one of the chief factors for it playing host to wildlife hotspots within city limits. Animal reserves like Snake Park, Gindi National Park, and Anna Zoological Park highlight the rich biodiversity for which the place has earned a great reputation. At the heart of Chennai lies the Gindi National Park, well known for deers, jungle cats and toddy cats. Gindi National Park is a 2.82 square kilometer protected area located in Chennai, and it is the 8th smallest national park of India and one of the very few national parks situated inside a city. Once covering an area of 5 square kilometer of one of the last remnants of tropical dry evergreen forest of the Coromandel coast, Gindi Park was originally a game reserve. It was owned by a British citizen named Gilbert Rodericks, from whom it was purchased by the government in 1821. It was established as a reserve forest in 1910. Cheethal were introduced into the park after 1945. It was transferred to the Tamil Nadu Forest Department in 1958, and in 1978 the entire forest was declared a national park. The near-threatened black buck, considered the flagship species of the park, was introduced in 1924 and has seen a population decline in recent times. About 1/6 of the park has been left as open grassland, to preserve that habitat for black bucks. The park has a dry evergreen scrub and thorn forest, grasslands and water bodies with over 350 species of plants, including shrubs, climbers, herbs and grasses, and over 24 varieties of trees. The Gindi Park is contiguous with the Arinyar Anna Zoological Park. This park is the largest zoological garden in India and is home to 7 white tigers. It houses more than 170 species of animals in about 81 enclosures. There are about 47 species of mammals, 63 species of birds, 31 species of reptiles, 5 species of amphibians, 25 species of fishes, and 10 species of insects in the park. The park, with an objective to be a repository of the state's fauna, is credited with being the state's second wildlife sanctuary after Mudumalai. The main objectives of the park are ex situ propagation of critically endangered species to prevent their extinction, wildlife education and interpretation aimed at a wider public appreciation of wildlife, and wildlife research to promote wildlife conservation and management. The zoo houses 2,553 species of flora and fauna across 1,265 acres. The Central Zoo Authority of India has identified the park as coordinating zoo for the breeding programs for endangered species as per the National Zoo Policy adopted by the Government of India in 1988, which states that the main objective of zoos will be to complement and strengthen national efforts in the conservation of the country's rich biodiversity, and that the species which have no chance of survival in the wild would be bred under ex situ conditions. The park has a high rate of success in captive breeding of lion-tailed macaques. The park is also successful in breeding rare species in captivity, including ostrich, civet, Indian gaur, Asiatic lion, white tiger, Asiatic wolf, and bison. Owing to its vastness and round-the-clock availability of animal medical care facilities, most of the rescued animals in the state, especially white tigers, are brought to the park. Environment enrichment, psychological well-being, and animal husbandry and veterinary care were the 3 important captive management practices that contributed to the longevity of animals. There has been a considerable reduction in the mortality rate of animals in captivity at the park. However, between April 2010 and March 2011, 22 animals were reported dead, of which 9 died due to old age, and the remaining owing to other health-related problems and infighting. Incidents of infighting, although rare, have been reported in the park. Another wildlife hotspot is the Madras Crocodile Bank Trust and Center for Herpetology. The Croc Bank grounds are covered by coastal dune forest, providing a haven for native wildlife, including large breeding colonies of water birds and a secure nesting beach for olive ridley sea turtles. The high aquifer on the sandy coast provides sufficient water supply, and the proximity of the major tourist destination Mahabalipuram ensures annual visitation. A WWF India-funded conservation agency, the Madras Crocodile Bank Trust's stated objectives are as follows: the conservation of nature and natural resources in the broadest sense, with particular focus on the conservation of herpetofauna and their habitats, to establish breeding, research, educational dissemination, and transfer centers, field stations and other establishments focusing on ecological and environmental issues. The center has one of the world's largest collections of crocodiles and alligators and has bred 5,000 crocodiles and alligators representing 14 of the 23 existing species, including the 3 crocodile species, all considered endangered, that are native to India. The Madras Crocodile Bank Trust and Center for Herpetology was the brainchild of the legendary Romulus Whittaker and a handful of like-minded conservation visionaries, who began work on the facility in a desperate effort to save India's dwindling crocodilian and snake population. Today, after 30 years of cutting-edge science and grassroots education of reptilian behavior, the Croc Bank remains a leader in the field of frontline conservation. The Croc Bank consists of a large reptile park and has an association with rural snake breeders in an attempt to conserve indigenous snake population. The Croc Bank was originally designed to be a living genetic repository for safekeeping until such time when they could be returned to their original wild habitats. Today, Croc Bank is home to 14 species of crocodiles, 12 species of indigenous snake populations, and many reptilian populations that are listed by the IUCN as critically endangered. However, even with all these conservation efforts, the condition of all these parks are quite deplorable. These are a lot of damages that have occurred internally as well as externally in the areas and hence caused a lot of losses to flora and fauna. In recent decades, human encroachment has posed a threat to wildlife. The current deplorable environmental crisis demands a spiritual response. The varied and rich wildlife of India had a profound impact on the region's popular culture. A fundamental reorientation of human consciousness, accompanied by action that is born out of inner commitment, is very much needed. One of the measures that could help a great deal to fulfill this need is to regenerate and rejuvenate basic values of Indian culture and propagate them.